Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. I am Jen. This is Bookmark by Jen. And I feel like this is a running thing with me lately. So I post a few videos and then I go MIA. Where the fuck have I gone? Life. That's where I've gone. My just turned 7-year-old is out on summer. And we have, you have kids, there's a lot of end of year things to do before the summer. And then also there is something that I'm working on the side that has taken up a lot of my time lately. I've hit a little bit of a snag with that right now, so I'm back. Here I am. And it's not that I don't want to sit down in front of the camera and film, or that I don't have video ideas or anything like that. It's just I make promises to myself each week that I'm going to sit down and film, and I just don't get to it. But I feel like I'm starting to get a little bit of the external things in my life under control. I have some time carved out now, so I don't want to make any promises, but I feel like I'll be around a little bit. I hope that I can at least say I can commit to one video a week. That should not be that hard. Okay, so today, what are we doing today? Today is basically a reading wrap up, what I've read recently, but I haven't done one of these in a while. It's been a couple months. It's probably been longer than what I'm going to do here, but I'm going to do, what month are we in? We're in June now, so I'm going to do an April, May wrap up. So what I've read recently, a reading wrap up of April and May. I'm going to try to go through these very quickly. I've made myself little notes, so if you see me looking down, that is what I'm doing so that I don't get too distracted. I give so many props to content creators that can rapid fire give reviews of the books in like a minute or two. I go off on tangents. I know people who go off on tangents. I know people who can do this quick fire. I'm going to try to do that. I've made myself notes, like I said. There are a few books that I would probably go into a little bit more detail in, but it's not like I've read a lot in the last couple months, but there are, a little bit, there's books. I don't want this to be like the longest video ever, and I've already talked enough in this intro. So here we go. We're going to jump in. Not going to time myself, but I'm going to try to stick to my notes here. So we're starting with what I read in April, which was 8 books, 2 arcs, and I was sent graciously by QB Tyler her newest release in a PR box, which I thought was just, yes, please, the queen herself. So first off, I read The Nanny is Off Limit, and oh my god, this one I loved for so many reasons and so many different reasons. And in this skew of QB Tyler world, where does this fall? I don't know. It's pretty far up there. It is pretty far up there. So obviously we know that this is a nanny romance. It is a bit of a slow burn, which is, QB Tyler does this. I know she's just got this way about her, but for QB Tyler to have a slow burn like this, like it's just kind of, I don't want to say unheard of for her, but like some things pop off really quickly with her, right? But there was this really yummy slow burn tension with these two that was just so good. Eliana and Rowan are characters. Like I said, it's a bit of a slow burn. What I really loved about this, which I again is not like unheard of for QB, but I felt was a little bit different, was that because of that slow burn, we got to really know these two characters more so before they hooked up, and the steaminess of what QB does so well. We got to see their relationship build a little bit more than sometimes we'll see a relationship build after we've already gotten to the relationship part. So this was a little bit different, and I loved it. Rowan has 3 children. I love how she brought all 3 children into the story and intertwined them. They were always front and center. Sometimes, we've talked about this before, but sometimes children get thrown to the wayside in stories, but I loved it. Obviously, Eliana, this is like her job, is to take care of these children, so I liked that they were a part of the story. There is a little bit of tension with one of the children, so that's like a fun little side piece as well. But again, going back to the relationship with them, because we got to see this relationship build, we got to see the chemistry more, and I think it really just helped, I don't know, ingrain these two in me. And I absolutely loved this story. And then you add in what QB does best with those spicy scenes, and oh my god, it just, I mean, the office scene, which I knew was coming, that is the definite chef's kiss for me. High up on the list. Obviously I gave that one a 5-star. Okay, next was my first arc of the month, which is Where the Wild Hearts Dance by Victoria Holiday. This is the second book in her new Mafia series. This is with Benito and Contessa. Honestly, I feel like this one is my favorite so far of the two. I loved them both. I think I gave them both like a 4 or 4.5 stars. But this one, I don't know, it tipped for me. Apparently April was like the tension month for me, because again, the tension was here between these two, and I think it really helped build the relationship. I think it helped build the slow burn. I think it helped build those sexy times. There was a really amazing scene in a cellar with an ice cube, and okay, here for that. But also there was really good banter between these two. There was really good dirty talk between these two, and I really liked it. I really enjoy Victoria Holiday's writing. She did have another pen name. I have been on her art team for a while with both pen names, so I've seen her writing for a little bit, and I think, honestly, I feel like she is in the world that she needs to be in with Mafia. Loving it. Okay, moving right along, I rolled right into my second arc of the month with an author who is quickly becoming one of my favorite authors. I've already devoured her backlist, which isn't even that long at all. I think it's maybe 5 or 6 books to the backlist, but I anticipate anything that she puts out at this point. It is P.S. Black. It is an MM romance. It is the second book in the series, and I do highly recommend that you read the first book in the series. I don't know what I just said. I highly recommend that you read the first book in the series before you dive into this one, because there are crucial moments that there are spoilers. Anyway, here it is. It is Shattered Hate by P.S. Black. I know it's going to be a little, there we go. I don't want it to get, there we go. Anyway. I also held up the wrong book. Okay, so this is the first book. This is the first book in the series. This is Shattered Ice. You should read this book before jumping into This Is the Arc, Shattered Hate, which is the second book in the series. Oh my gosh, I pulled these down for a reason. And this was it. So, read Shattered Ice and then read Shattered Hate. But we're going to be talking about Shattered Hate. So, this is between Dax and Trey, or Daxton and Trayton. We meet them in the first book. This is an enemies to lovers. It is a, can I say that? It's a friends to enemies to lovers. But there's like a little twist with the friends. And it's just, you guys, like this series, I die for these characters. These characters really hold a place in my heart. I think about them often. I think about these two very often, and another side character, and we're getting another book as well that should be coming out really soon. But they are phenomenal reads. They are emotional reads. They have by awakening in them, and they have just, I mean, the friendships and the found family, and there is abuse of many kinds, domestic abuse, substance abuse, a lot of triggering moments. So, mental health matters. You definitely need to check trigger warnings just in case. I don't want to hold this up too much longer because I know like there is a glare on it, which is annoying, but it's very emotional. These P.S. Black writes in a way where you really get consumed by the characters. You really form an attachment almost. Like you really, really care for the characters that you're reading about, and you really want them to come out on the other side. Like your heart will break for them, you will laugh with them, you will cry with them, you will do all of the things. Daxton, my heart just broke for him. I mean, the way that he navigates the things that he's gone through and the guilt that he feels for things that have happened in the first book. Again, you got to read the first book first. I mean, you definitely do, because you're going to be missing out on a whole lot of things. The hell that he was put through and the hell that he put himself through. There's also this bullying aspect between Drayton and Daxton. Drayton hates Daxton at the beginning of the book and even in the previous book for things that have happened. But of course, there is like some things that he doesn't know. Jackson's really just trying to pull himself out of the environment that he's been thrust in his whole life, and wants to better himself, and he gets repeatedly being kicked down, and just the strength that he has to pull himself up, even though he and other people are weighing him down. It's an emotional book. And it's amazing. I mean, it was 5 stars all around, and I cannot wait for the next book, because ooh, that's going to be good too. Okay, we're going to move on because we have a lot of books to cover too. My next book was Buried Dreams by Natasha Madison. I love this world. I've loved Natasha Madison's writing since I read the first book. What is it called? I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head right now, but this is book 3. This is with Brooke and Everly. I cannot say enough things about the series. I love the series. So I am waiting for Forgotten Dreams to come out in July, which is the 5th book, before I read the 4th book, which is Stolen Dreams, because I kind of want to read them consecutively and just stay in that world for a minute. Let's talk about Buried Dreams and Brock and Everly. This is the 3rd book. I'm like all over the place. I know you can tell when it hasn't been a while since I filmed. I apologize. Anyway, so these two have an epic love, right? These two have been together for many, many years, and you know, they're just going to be together forever. Like, that's just it. That's going to happen. Now, the accident happens. The infamous accident that happens. I don't even know if I can call it an accident, but we're going to call it an accident that happens in the first one. And these two, their epic love, their amazing life has basically just shattered, and people make wrong decisions and they separate, and they're apart for a really long time. But now Everly is back in town, and Brock and her cannot seem to stay away from each other. Like, they don't, like, there's this magnetic pull between them, but Everly does not want to be around him and doesn't like him because he didn't do the things that she wanted him to do when that accident happened. Like, his series of events happened, and she wished that he would have made different decisions. And so they separated. But now that she's back, they literally cannot stay away from each other. I mean, they hook up in a park on a tree. Standing up on a tree, you know what I mean. Anyways, but it was like one of those things where, like, we don't like each other, but we still like each other. Like, we always had this immense attraction and this magnetic chemistry. When we're around, it's like dynamite about to go off, but we don't like each other. And here's the thing, like, I mean, you get to the story, like, you understand everything that happened and the series of events that happened to make Brock do and say what he did, and make Everly do and say what she did. But I think, like, what irritated me about this is that aspect of miscommunication, where it all could have been resolved if we would have just had a moment of just stop and listen to me and help me. But I obviously understand why that didn't happen. We wouldn't have a story. There were a couple things that, like, I didn't quite sit well with me or, like, annoyed me, but this still is just an amazing series, and I cannot wait. Was it my favorite in the series so far? No. But it was still epically good. I still gave it 4 stars. Next up, we have Archer by Dr. Rebecca Sharp, which I have been really looking forward to this series. It's one of the series that I wanted to read for this year. So this is a 4-book series, and it is presented as a Criminal Minds with a romantic twist, which I love. Criminal Minds. I mean, I'm a stan for Criminal Minds. And then if you've been around for any length of time, you know, like, back in the day when I started reading a lot, I was very into suspense and psychological thrillers. So this is like bringing the love of that here with the romantic suspense, but I still get the romance aspects that I absolutely heavily need. So this is the first book in the series. This is Archer and Kira. Archer is a Boston police officer. Kira is the daughter of a mafia enforcer who has just turned basically state's witness. He is going to testify against the mafia to get Kira out of this lifestyle, and then they're going to go into witness protection program. And Archer is tasked to keep Kira safe and watch her until her father can testify. But something happens, and not on his watch, Kira dies. And Archer blames himself for not being there to be able to protect her, and he quits the force and goes home to Wyoming, where him and his brothers decide to open up this protective, high-stakes security firm. And it's been a few years. It's been like, I think it's like 4 or 6 years. I can't quite remember the time. Anyway, guess who shows up? None other than Kira. And Archer can't understand why Kira just showed up in town, his hometown, when she's supposed to be dead. And he finds out that it was all a ruse. This is not a spoiler either. I mean, obviously she can't be dead if we're having a romance. And this is not a paranormal romance, so therefore it ain't no spoiler. Anyway, she's back in town, but he still needs to protect her because some stuff starts happening when she moves into town, and he can't figure out if it's because of Kira or if it's because of something else. And he is determined this time, I'm going to protect her. I will not lose her. She is mine. She has always been mine, but she was like on the cusp of adulthood whenever they were together the last time, so like no boundaries were crossed, but both of them wanted something to happen. I really enjoyed it. I did have a couple problems. Like Kira, I feel like for being who her father was, for being her father was like super freaking paranoid, which is why he didn't want to go into WITSEC. He just wanted them to disappear, which is why they faked their deaths. But he taught her a lot. And for Kira to do certain things that she did in the book that I was like, okay, like, what are you doing? This is how you're going to get caught. That annoyed me a little bit because I was like, how can you be so stupid? You're so smart. How could you be this stupid? But it was still really good. That aside, it was really good. Like, you're going to figure it out. I definitely don't want to spoil anything. But what I thought was interesting was she is an artist and a tattoo artist as well. So she opens up her own tattoo parlor, and there's some really fun, sexy tattoo inspired scenes that are just to the point. Yes. Let's move on to the next one, which was our buddy read for April. I'm going to leave the live show for that down below. It is probably one of my favorite live shows that we did, just because this was a shit show. Oh my god, I can't believe I just said that. Pun intended. It was a shit show of a book. I can't with this book, and I don't want to go into too much detail because we've talked about it so much in the live show. But okay, I gave it 2 stars. It might be a pity 2-star, but like I gave it a 2-star because I finished it. Now, it took me way too long to finish this book. It was only over 200 pages. I think it was Mandy who even DNF'd it. It was not good. Now, when I picked this book, which I apologize profusely for picking this book, the premise sounded really good. It was like a Red Riding retelling or reimagining or something, and a couple other aspects to it that I can't even remember because I can't remember anything about this book other than how freaking stupid the main characters are, especially the heroine. It's between Maeve and Nicholas, and really all you need to know is that it talks about the fact that she shit her pants at the very start of the book. Like, that's the first sentence, and then it just continues in that manner through the whole book. It's not very long. There's no point in reading it. Anything else you want to know? Because I don't remember anything about this book, and I don't care to. It's on the live show. But the live show was really fun. I mean, we had a blast talking about this and just harping on it, and I really feel bad for, like, harping on it because I just give love to my authors, but, like, sometimes you just gotta have fun shitting on a book. Pun intended. So after that complete sham of a book and just disaster, I needed to read something, and I needed to read something good because I was in a tailspin of a slump. So at the suggestion of Jessica, I read my first BJ Alpha book, which was Veiled in Hate. I haven't dove into her world too much, but I know that a lot of the characters, there are several characters in this book that have shown up in previous books, so it's like one of those interconnected series that are a part of an interconnected series. Does that make sense? One interconnected series is a part of many interconnected series. Like they commingle. It's a series that commingles. Look, I really enjoyed this writing. I mean, I just dove right into. I mean, like, I don't know why haven't I read BJ Alpha before? I think because of the extensive backlist that she has, and I always feel compelled with a series like that, interconnected series like that, to, even though you can read out of order, like I just did, I always feel compelled to read them in sequence, which I obviously did not hear, but I think that's why. But her writing, I mean, it just captures you immediately. You fall right in. It is mafia romance, which I was very much in need of, I think. This is between Luca and Camille, and apparently everybody had been waiting for Luca's story. Now, I read this in a day. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we're in June now. Okay, we're in June. I don't remember a lot. Like a lot of details have flown the coop in my head, so to speak. There's a lot of animosity. I remember that. Like, I don't remember specific scenes. I do need to go back and reacquaint myself with this for other reasons, but I feel really bad. Like, it's like I just don't remember a lot. I can't remember a lot of scenes. I know that there's spanking. I know that there's like they do not like each other. Their families hate each other. So Luca hates Camille's family because Camille's family killed his sister. Her brother is gone as well, and they don't like each other, but the families need to reunite. It is an arranged marriage, and Luca's like, fine. Like, if I have to marry you, that's fine, but guess what? All bets are off once you're mine, because when you're mine, I can do what I want with you, kind of thing, and he does. But Camille she's strong. I do remember that. Like, she was the heroine that you love to love. I know that there was like a little bit of miscommunication in here, but it was done right. I enjoyed that. I mean, again, I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. It had immaculate spice. Like, it was really good. I loved the pull and push of it. I loved how when Luca finally was a little tender with her, like, it was a tremendous cost, and it came at the nick of time, kind of thing. But I can't remember a lot of specific scenes. It was really, I mean, I read it in a day. Obviously, I enjoyed it. Like, I could not put it down, and it was not a short book. I mean, it was like close to 500 pages. So I think we're to my last book for April, right? Yes. Okay. Which was Brutal Game by Joe Brenner. Now, this is Jack and Aviva, and holy crazy. Like, it's a hockey romance. It is a bully romance. I mean, like, I don't even know if bully would be the right word. It's not like bully to the next level. I rarely care about triggers. I honestly feel like sometimes triggers will give away parts of the book for me, and I don't care to be spoiled in that way. So I don't really read triggers that much. So that being said, I was not prepared for what happens between Jack and Aviva, and it hit me like a train, because I was like, oh, I didn't realize we were going like that. Like, we were going this deep in bully. Like, again, that's why I say I don't think bully is quite the right word, because I mean, Jack goes crazy, and Jack is, it reminded me, and I'm not saying that in any way it is like this, but it reminded me of the Fucking Wrong series by C.R. James, where, only because you have these seemingly amazing male characters, and then they flip out and go psycho over one girl, and they act out of character for one girl, where it's like, the end all be all, but in a completely different way for this book. And because he stalks her, he blackmails her, he abuses her, he forces her to do many, many things, and then in conclusion, or in consequence of, her body just starts to react to him, whether she wanted to or not. But it was good. Like, I couldn't get enough. But it's one of those where, like, I definitely would say if you're somebody who needs to read triggers, then definitely adhere to those triggers. But I like to be pleasantly surprised sometimes. I thoroughly enjoyed this book as well. I gave it a 4.5 stars. The spice is definitely up there. I like that there's like a sense of blackmail as well, because the thing is like something happened in Aviva's life and she's out for revenge, and she is hoping to like become friends maybe with like some of the hockey players so that she can get in with the hockey world so that she can find this revenge. And Jack catches her doing this, and instead of going to his coach and going to the school and getting her expelled because she is on not academic probation, but she is on scholarship, he says, well, I'm not going to tell, but you're going to do everything that I want you to do. And I do mean everything. So, and she doesn't want to lose her scholarship, so she does. And that's how I ended my April. Let's get into what I read in May. Significantly less than in April. I only read 5 books as opposed to my 8 in April. Like April, I also had 2 arcs, and we will get into those. All right, so let's start us off with what I read first, and it was When the Stars Fall by Emery Rose. I have never read anything by Emery Rose before. Was excited to get into this. This is between Jude and Lila, and it's one of those books that spans generations. It is, did I say generations? Good God, Jennifer. It is a book that spans decades, not generations, decades. We meet them when they are really, really young, and we go through the decades with them. One thing I will say that I could have gone without this book is, I think, spanning decades. I don't think 50% of the book needed to be them from like 10 to 18. I think we could have done that in like a quarter of the book and gotten to the meat of the story. I don't want to spend too much time with my characters when they're that young. Like I want to get to the freaking story, and I think that we can still relay what we need to relay because there are pivotal moments, and I think that I understand when an author wants us to see that and not just flashbacks, but we want to see how this relationship progressed and why they do the things that they do and how they are made up. I understand that, but sometimes we can stay too long, and I feel like we stayed too long. That doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy this book. I want to, it's my review. It's what I think. I didn't love this book as much as I thought that I was going to. Maybe it was because of that, but there are some key moments that stood out to me. In the last, 40% of the book, like, I really enjoyed. Like, that was the meat of the story. That's what I wanted to get into. I don't want to say I was a little bored with, but I was a little bored going up into, like, I'm like, okay, but I want to get to the story. Like, I know this is the story, but anyway, I've already talked about that. Listen, drug abuse, PTSD, being overseas, being in the war, being enlisted, these things are very prevalent. They are talked about in this book, and I think that they are done very well in this book. Everybody reacts differently to what they've seen. Nobody has the same experience overseas, over in, whatever part of the world of the war that they are in. They have different experiences. Some are on the front lines, some are behind scenes, some are on the front lines many, many times. And I think it was done, PTSD. And I think it was talked about very well. I think it was handled very well. I think it was just a really powerful story when that came up. My heart went out to Jude. My heart went out to Lila, who just wanted to help but didn't know how. And I think that's what really endeared me to the story. I think that's what I really enjoyed about it was 2 people who came from the same world, who had been together for so long, who grew apart, and then who could eventually come back together, but had to go through some heartache and some tough times, and your life doesn't always pan out the way that you think it will, but you can always come full circle. And I think that was a good lesson and a good story to have. Then I got into my first arc of the month, and I did not do good with arcs this month, I'm going to tell you. So when I pick an arc, I only sign up for arcs if I'm on an arc team, obviously, which I am on a couple. Those are authors that I like. Like, I like a lot. I like the writing. I'm very selective. When I go for an arc that I am not a part of an arc team, or I try to go with authors that I already know. If I go with an author that I don't know, it is because the premise, the tropes, the little synopsis, anything like that, it grabs my attention. And that is the only reason that I will sign up for an arc. I just don't sign up for arcs willy-nilly because that's a lot of my time too, and I don't want to be tied down to a lot of books that like I'm forced to read, even though I signed up for it, if that makes sense. But also, I'm very selective because this is somebody's livelihood, and if I'm just going out there reading whatever, then there's a chance that I might not like something, and that happened with this one. Now, I did end up giving this one a 3 stars. I do think I probably would have. It's 3 stars. Anyway, so this is between Eros and Quinn. This is a mafia romance. The premise sounded really good. It was like, so he's a bit of a ghost in the mafia world. He is a retired enforcer. And he's doing his own thing now, but he kind of gets sucked into helping his neighbor, who just so happens to be the daughter of, I think he's a police chief as well. She's meant to be a badass. She's meant to be very strong-willed heroine, and to me, she did not come off like that. She came off very immature for her 24 years. I mean, like, at one point, I think that she was even, like, stomping across the street or something. It was just, no. But I did like Eros, and I really wish that we would have had more of, because he had to kind of go into like his old routine of being like the ghost, and we got to see a little bit of how he used to do what he did whenever he was, the muscle for the mafia, and it was really interesting how he did what he did. And I wish maybe a little bit more of that, because these two just were, I don't know, she was immature. She was annoying. She was not hard ass. And he definitely, did he spank her at some point? I think he did. And like, dude, she needed it. And then not in like a sexual way. Like, she just was, honestly, she was an ignorant brat to me. I didn't like it. Should it be 3 stars? Maybe not. Then moving on from that fiasco, because I kind of needed, I felt bad. I really did. But I needed something different. So I went to our buddy read for May, which again, I will link down below for you. This is Beautiful Mess by A. James. I can't remember if it's, I think it is, I don't know. It's a part of an interconnected series. I don't know. I think maybe it's between Grace and Conway. We wanted this one because all we heard was X's father. And anytime you say that to any one of us, I feel like we're just like, okay, like, yes, please. I need some of that. Yes. So we've already got an age gap. We've got a little bit of like a taboo-esque thing. I'm here for that. Plus, I love a blue-collar man. That's what Conway is. So we start out with Grace and Conway. She has just witnessed something. She's out drowning her sorrows. Conway sees her, that she is a little bit too inebriated to drive, and he drives her home. She makes a move, and he's like, mm-mm. And it embarrasses her. It embarrasses her enough that she, like, then holds a grudge for years. And, like, we just can't talk about it like adults, which, whatever. Then we do a time jump. For, like, 14-year time jump. They've both been married. He remarried, Conway remarried, she married. They both have more kids, because, remember, she was dating his son. But now it's 14 years later, and they both have kids, not kids together, but like Conway had another kid with his wife, and then she has 2 kids. Her daughter and his daughter are best friends. they're on the PTA together, and she does not like him, and he just finds it like a little bit humorous that she's still holding this grudge. It was a fun book to read. Did I have some issues with it? Yes, but here are the things about these issues. They are pet peeves of mine. So do I harp on a book because of that? No. Do I take a star off for it or a rating off? Yeah, but I'm not gonna like be like it was horrible because of all these pet peeves that I have. Like I have anxiety when I'm going to like you cannot be late. I don't like that. If we make plans to be at a certain time, I expect you to be there at a certain time. Like that's a thing with me. It is complete. But Grace has a problem with being on time. She's a business owner and can't get her shit together, and like that just bothered me to no end. It was so annoying to me that like she could not, and it wasn't just like a couple minutes. It was like, 20, 30 minutes, and she can't call and say this is what happened, and it's just always that just bothered me. Another thing that bothered me is, I've gotten better throughout the years with this, with the daddy trope of it all. And I think I was okay with it. I became a little bit okay with it when I started reading Hubie Tyler, because I don't know, but Hubie does it in a really good way. So this was a constant daddy thing. Like it was just like a thing where she just called him daddy. It was not calling him Conway or babe or baby or whatever. It was just we're gonna call him daddy like all the time, and that just became a little bit too repetitive to me. And like I could have done without. I think I even like replaced daddy with something else in my head because it was just it can be too much. So that was a little too much for me. So there, those are pet peeves. I still gave this a 4-star. I'm still standing by this 4-star because it was funny. I thought the relationship between the two girls was great. I thought the animosity that they had was funny. I thought the banter between them, I thought the chemistry between them, like it was just, you're mad at him for something that you're embarrassed about, but like you are still drawn to this man, and he is a sexy fox of a man. I loved that he just did little things, and she's just too clueless to realize because whatever, and he's too clueless to realize that she really did want him all those years ago. It wasn't just because she was drunk. It was because I'm drunk enough to be brave enough to act on my feelings, kind of thing. And it's just, I don't know, the two of them together, like they complemented each other really well, and I really enjoyed the story. I just have pet peeves when it comes to certain things. I'm not gonna demote a book because of that. Let's get to the last 2 books of the month. First being my last arc, the second arc of the month, by a new author as well. This is called Bracing the Storm. Now, this is part of a duology. I knew going in this was going to be a cliffhanger. I knew that I needed to read the second book, but I wanted to read it because it was, it stood out to me. Rockstar romance. I'm a little bit of a rockstar era, not error. It ain't an error, girl. It's an era. Maybe I am. And then it's set in Ireland. He's an Irish rock star. Yes, please. So I was in for it. But then I was in for it because let me tell you, this book, not very long again, but it took me way too long to read this book because it was just a no for me. Like if Wrapped in Silver was a no for me, this was also a no for me. I'm going to just tell you off that. Like I am not going to continue. I don't care to know what happens. I'm not reading it what I rated it because there was a cliffhanger. I've seen people on the reviews like berating it because it had a cliffhanger, and I'm like, you're an idiot. If you signed up for this, it said there is a cliffhanger. I think if you're not even signing up for it, it's a duology. Of course there's going to be some type of a cliffhanger, and you're berating an author for that. Like that's your own stupidity. Books have cliffhangers. I don't care to know what happens next. It wasn't for me. I was bored out of my mind with this. This is between Patrick and Lori. So Lori, she is going through some shit in New York. We don't quite know what's happening with her. Like she's lost her job. She's kind of an outcast now. She's working 2 jobs to make ends meet. Something happened. She's got money tied up in a lot of different things and legally, like, tied up. And we're not at the crux of that. Like, we don't know what that is. You'll find that out in the second part. But while this is all happening, she gets a letter from a lawyer's office that says a woman that she met one time has passed away and given her house in Ireland. So we meet her. She's off to Ireland to go claim this house and sell it because she needs money. And it's basically like this fucking mansion. It's like an Irish castle. And she mistakenly thinks that the man in the castle that she meets, who is drop dead gorgeous, is the groundskeeper. I mean, why she gets it, I don't know. Groundskeeper turned out to be the woman's son. I ended up giving this one a 3-star too, but honestly, like, I don't typically do this. And I feel bad, like, because it was the arc I signed up for. If it was something that I didn't sign up for, I would have given it a 2-star. But because I signed up for it, because I thought the premise sounded really good, I was duped. I gave it a 3, but it's like a 2.5. I rounded up to a 3. Here's the thing. So inner monologues, they happen. It's how we get to know what is going on in our characters' minds. But when you're having a conversation with someone and you go off on a tangent in your head and you forget to answer questions and they're like, hey, Lori, what are you going to answer my question? Or you start drooling because, Patrick is gorgeous and I don't know. Like, she just goes off on tangents in her head, these inner monologues. And it's like, oh my God, woman, somebody asked you something 5 minutes ago and you're still just staring off into space having a conversation with you in your head. Like, that's just too long. So that was annoying. And then also she would say things and not know that she was saying them. That's another pet peeve of mine. But, like, it happened frequently where she would just drool and say something and, oh, did I really just say that out loud? How do you not know you're saying that out loud? Why is that such a thing? Once I can get over it, but like 2 or 3 times, 4 times when it happens, I cannot get over that. Now let's get to the rock star portion of it, because it was not rock star. He is a rock star and he does things like he's trying to get her to get out of his house because he's like, I don't understand why my mom left this chick. It's my house. Like, I don't understand what's going on. You will understand that in the second part of the book, I'm sure. Like, in the duology, the second part, you'll get to the meat of that, I'm sure, as well. He's trying to, like, get her to leave, and she's standing her ground because she wants this money. But then she also starts to, like, really enjoy Ireland and really enjoy the countryside, and then she starts to fall for Patrick, never realizing that he's a big time rock star, because she doesn't listen to music ever because of something that happened in her past. Maybe we'll get to that in the second part of the book, second book too, but she doesn't listen to music anymore. Like, okay, I give believability to Sky Full of Stars by Chris Riley when she meets Adam and she doesn't know who he is, because she is an 80s girly through and through. So she doesn't listen to current rock bands. That's how she doesn't know who Adam is. Completely understand it. But to say I don't listen to any kind of music, I just like it to be quiet, like, it was just completely unbelievable and I did not like it. So let's move on, because I don't want to talk about that stupid book anymore and I'm so sorry. So sorry. Moving on, I had to finish the month right, and I was so excited to get back into this world with The Fucking Wrong Rookie by C.R. Jane. It is it's the 5th book in the series. I love this world, and I love these men, and I love the bromance that all of these men have just started, and they have this found family, and they really created this amazing family. And then again, like I had mentioned earlier, they are psychotic for this one woman. They go crazy. They do crazy things, and I think it's just so fun. I love it. I love this world. So this is between Logan and Sloane. And I mean, I've loved all of them, but my heart goes out to Sloane. Like, this poor girl who just wanted to be loved, who just wanted a family to call her own, who just wanted a place to belong. And she thought that she finally did belong, and her uncle does her dirty. Dirty. And I wanted to wring his neck. Let's just say that, because no spoilers. Then Logan sees her. And it's like one of those spontaneous moments, like with Lincoln, like with everybody, where immediately knows, like, that's my woman right there, and I'm going to do anything in my power, and I don't care who she is, and I don't care what she's been through, and I don't care, like, not in a mean way, but like, I don't care, because it doesn't matter. The past is the past, and now is now, and we're starting now. But that's what he does. He essentially buys her so that he can keep her safe, and figure out how to get her out of the clutches of her uncle, who is insane. But then, my man Lincoln comes ahead, and he was like, he breeds the psychos, really. He really does. I mean, you got it all. Like, you've got your hockey. I love that you always get moments of, in the hockey rink, you're like in there with the boys and watching the puck go back and forth. I have no idea anything about hockey, but I absolutely love it. And then, you've got your girls who are like, they're these gorgeous girls, but like, they don't let that alter the way they talk and they speak and they interact with other females. Like, they bring Sloane in. And I just love it. The possessiveness, all around goodness and yumminess, and then the spicy, and then the such a good series. But yeah, if you have any suggestions or want to see something that you haven't seen, or want to see something again, or whatever it is, let me know down below, because I love any suggestions you guys can give. I just love chatting with you guys. I will definitely see you very soon. Like I said, got a couple recommendation videos coming your way, so be on the lookout for that. But until next time, happy reading. Bye.